My sister is an English teacher, and I was an English teacher. And she told me about a book that I really needed to read called Nora Goes Off Script. And there's a moment in that book where Hollywood, the idea of Hollywood, an actor shows up at her house to film a scene, and he comes into her kitchen and sits down and eats meatloaf with her. And everybody from Hollywood moves out, and he stays. And he says, okay, what's next? He keeps asking, okay, what do we do now? What do we do now? And so they went grocery shopping together. And the other night I went grocery shopping. Friday night I went grocery shopping. I tend to do my grocery shopping on Friday nights. I like to go on Friday night or Saturday night when nobody else is in the store. It's just a thing I do. It started with the pandemic, and it's just sort of stuck. And so I went to the grocery store, and I for years, I couldn't eat bananas. This is People always want to turn this into something dirty, but I promise you, this is like true. I can't eat bananas. I couldn't eat bananas because they made the back of my throat itch, which I went to an allergist and she told me that it's tied to seasonal allergies. But those of you who know me know that in 2022, I cleaned up my diet and I stopped eating dairy, and I stopped eating gluten, and I stopped eating sugar, refined American sugar. I'll have honey, or I'll have some maple syrup. But yes, so I stopped eating dairy, I stopped eating gluten, and I just stopped eating a refined American sugar. And when that happened, my seasonal allergies went away. I stopped having like giant itchy eyes and runny nose in the spring and the fall. Totally ended. No longer had it going on. And so when I was down in Florida, I mentioned in a video recently that I was in Florida. When I was down in Florida, my host handed me a banana. And I was like, let's have an adventure and see if the back of my throat itches. And so I ate the banana, and there was no back of the throat itching at all. My body was totally fine with it. So when I went grocery shopping this week, I bought 3 bananas. And I wrote to my sister and I said, I feel like that guy in Nora Moves On, not Nora Moves On, that's Maggie Moves On, totally different book. Nora Goes Off Script. I feel like the guy in Nora Goes Off Script because he walks around the grocery store at one point with the you know how some grocery stores, like, I think it's like Stop and Shops, and I think it's like Giants, that when you get your card, you know, the card that you put on your key ring that like is your member card, you can scan your member card or put in your email maybe into the thing, and you can go around, and whenever you buy anything you can like give it a scan. And so she teaches him how to scan groceries, how to scan produce, and they scan produce, and he's like amazed at how cheap bananas are. Well, I was looking at my receipty today from my grocery shopping on Friday night, and bananas, I got 3 bananas, and they were like 50 cents. And I was like, how are these bananas like 56 cents for bananas? And so then I sent my sister a text that said basically, I feel like the guy, I think his name was Leo, in Nora Goes Off Script, where he's amazed at how cheap bananas are. And I am amazed at how cheap bananas are. So Nora Goes Off Script is wonderful. It is a wonderful story about a woman who writes for Hallmark movies, and occasionally she doesn't. And occasionally she writes something that's much, much bigger and much more important. And then the adventure that comes into her life because they decided to take one of her scripts and film it at her house, and Hollywood showed up. And then Hollywood just sort of stuck around for a little while and got to know her kids and got to watch her make meatloaf and found it disgusting, and went with her to the grocery store and found that fascinating too. And then what happens when, like, you know, Hollywood moves into your life for a little while. So, yeah, Nora Goes Off Script. Such a good story.